Hello guys, David Dux here. Welcome to this video, and today I'm gonna go over my 2021 year performance. So hopefully you guys can learn something new. And this year has been really crazy. And for how much money I made, I'm not going to say, but I'm gonna, talk about my trade zero statements, which I made about close to $3.7 million alone this year. And I'm gonna go through different tickers and go through how many times did I trade per day, so which most of you guys are very curious about if you're just a beginner getting into this industry. So other than that, yeah, let's get into the video and make sure to hit that like button. So in 2021, as you can see, in total summary, made about 3.68 million. This is not including the borrow fees. The borrow fees are probably around 300 to 400,000. So net profit will be anywhere between 3 to 3.2 million. It's not that bad if you are comparing to 2020, which is another crazy year. Going into 2020 January, made about 2.8 million. So I would say a solid improvement on my risk management. You can see that I had 4 red months: January, March, September, and November. I shouldn't took this massive, I would say massive mistake. It's not a big loss, but definitely missed a lot of opportunities there last year in November. So, which I did a significant improvement in this year. As you know, that the December in 2021 is pretty slow, so only made 127,000. But overall, I did really well, and I only had 3 red months: April, June, and September. April losses are really minimum, so which I'm glad. And this is just profits, and I'm gonna dive into specific tickers. So this is how I really manage my risk, and you guys can take decent notes on it. I've been improving year by year, so I'm still working on it and I'm still learning. I'm not graduated from the market yet, so as I keep learning, I will share more experience about how I really manage my risk. But as for now, let's dive into the tickers. So as you can see, that there is in the entire page, let's see, that's 94. So I traded 94 tickers in total in 2021. And if you count all the trading days, I trade probably once every 3 days. And between hot and slow seasons, so I don't trade every single day, as you can see. For overall, if you look at my biggest losses and my biggest gain, they're pretty similar, and I'm trying to keep my biggest gain and biggest losses up to an even level. So if you have a solid 70% winning percentage, you will always come out ahead. So ASAG, this is probably the biggest mistake I made. I traded about 3 times in a row. Each time lost about 100,000. It was a low flow, gap up short, definitely over traded, my mistake. I learned a lot from it. It never sets in too much into a ticker on a first green day on a gap up short. Not really worth it. This is where I was testing my limitations of how much you can size in the first green day, and I definitely oversized. Learned the lesson from that, and I never made the same mistakes again. So this is at the beginning of the year. AMC, this I made about 3 trades on it. So if you look at the tickers, this is how much in total I lost. This one I tried about 3 times on the way up. Each time lost about 60,000, 60,000-ish. So in total, plus the fees, it comes out at 230. That's I think the major loss. You can see the 8,000, 18,000. There's another one, 268,000 loss, $163,000 loss. So 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, those are the 5 biggest losses that I have. throughout the entire 2021. All the rest of the trades will be under $100,000 loss. And you can see all those winning trades, 120K, 30K, 240K, 100K, 284,000. So 331, and compared to KOSS, which will be 284,000, those are pretty similar. Those are 30,000 apart, and my biggest win plus the biggest losses is pretty much dead at zero. It's hard to control to 331 losses and 331 gains because stocks reacts different and there are low floats, so it's hard to keep them exact even, but you get my point. So overall, did pretty well this year. And let's look at some of the losses together, so you guys can kind of get my point of why I sized in and why is it not a good idea to size in too much and place over 2 trade in the same ticker in the same day. So for AACG, this is where I made my mistake. You can see that I was betting on this gap up short. It pushed up to the 570s and did a fake out right here. Don't know why I can't zoom in. Then it pulled back down, so this is where I shorted it, and it reversed again, pushed up, broke through the 590, 570 area, so that's where I cut my losses. So I did 1-2 losses right here because they did multiple fake outs and did another fake out. So all of those losses plus together, each of them is 100K because I sized in, I think it was 700,000, so each time I was taking 7%, 8%, yeah, 10% losses each time. So that's where I took the massive losses. I didn't even get caught by this huge run up. So overall, lessons from taking this specific losses, whenever you're looking at the gap up short, if it goes over 300%, it's not really worth it to short into it. That's number one. Number two, if it performs over 3 times on the fake out, if you screw up 2 times on the trade, do not ever trade it again. This is where I made my mistake. I could minimize this to a 200K losses, but instead of 300K. So this is where I could improve on in the future, is I could not touch this one because it's up 300% already, and I screwed up over 3 times on this ticker. So I could minimize it to a 200K. I could just not trade this ticker at all from the first criteria. So and every single year I will look at the tickers and where I made the mistakes, and to really revalue, is this mistake avoidable? How can I place a criteria for myself to see, okay, this is not tradable in the next time. So now for some tickers you can see you size in too much, it's not really avoidable. That's fine. Just take out all the things that's not necessary, especially the trades that you forced in. So that's something that I personally do for myself every single year. I think for beginners, as you guys should do it as well. So overall, you can see my performance right here, and I don't trade that much, once every 3 days. And every single year, make sure to look at your own account statements and find out all the mistakes that you made. Pull out all the mistakes that it's not necessary, and write down the mistakes that can be avoided in the future. So in this way, you can improve yourself every single year. The main thing about this game is keep your max loss and your max win up to the same level. As long as you have a solid winning percentage, you will always come out in a year. So I still couldn't manage my wins to massively overwhelm my max losses. I think it comes out every single year, and I'm still trying to improve on that. So as trader, as myself, as you guys, we're all improving ourselves. So if you have any comments, leave a comment below. If you also have any questions, you can also ask me in the comments as well. And that'll be the end of this video. Make sure to leave a like button and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.